Have you ever wondered how it is that meditation can free you, can actually liberate you, awaken you? Have you ever wondered what the transferability is to everyday life and what the connection is with our thoughts during the day or our feelings or our sensations and that on the pillow in the morning? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you, no matter who you are, the Dalai Lama or a brand new beginner, the particular nuances that you go through and the various ups and downs and the flatlining that can happen and the identification and attachment and all of that and how that actually works. So I hope I got your attention. Let's wade in. So here we go. So if we think about a 20-minute meditation and we start here, so this is ground, let's call that ground zero, where we start right at the, oh, you can't see that. How about that? We're starting there. And what we're going to do is we're going to follow the trajectory of our minds, whether you're a beginner or not, whether you're the Dalai Lama, you will still go through this trajectory. And here's what happens. So follow with me. So inevitably, let's use a different color, we end up following, our breath, where we're following the breath in and out, or we're deciding that we have a mantra, or we are following a particular visualization that we're doing. We're inevitably going to lose focus and bring focus back. So what it actually looks like is, let's pretend like we have a simple mantra, Om Mani Padme Om, or Sat Nam. Let's say Sat Nam. Okay, so there we are. We're following the trajectory in the 20 minutes here. We're going Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. Oh shit, I hope the video doesn't run out. I hope I'm doing a good job. Oh, did I leave the stove on? Oh, whoops, I forgot. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. Oh, my back is sore. I'm wondering if I can come back to this another time. Maybe I shouldn't be meditating as long. God, my knees. Maybe I should need to see the chiropractor. Oh, forgot. Sat Nam, Sat Nam. I hope he calls. My God, why doesn't he call more right? Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. Boy, this is uncomfortable. My back. Sat Nam. And inevitably, right, this is what goes on for all of us. This is what meditation looks like in a 20-minute period. The beginning, it's much more spikes. And of course, at the end, somebody who's very used to meditation and used to accessing more of this ground of joy here, that, there's much less spikes and probably more like this in a 20-minute period. I mean, I just sped it up a bit, right? So what about this is meditation? Well, not seeing your answers, so I'm going to tell you the whole thing is meditation. And what's the most important part of the meditation are these spikes right here, at the end of these spikes. Why? Because we are actually, at those moments, we are disidentifying and detaching from the story, the sensations, the feelings, the inevitability of that stress. We're learning about detachment. We're learning that we are identified to certain stories, and we start to think that we are those stories or those memories or that future or that worry and that we have. We start to get associated, and we start to think that that is who we are. When really, some people think that this middle ground here, this ground that we're in the middle here, is more of the important place to be. Yes, it is more of the important place to be, and that's what we're aiming for, a certain equanimity, a certain, willingness to be able to find our way into this territory so we're not so, lost, the inevitability of following our sensations or our thoughts or our feelings, stories, whatever that is, images, imaginations, wild imaginations, we've all had them. We end up cutting them off so that we are able to come back sooner, so that we do end up with that more of an inevitability of that. Yes, we end up following thoughts, sensations, our to-do list when we're supposed to be meditating and following Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Satnam, but we do all wander like this. So vital that we understand that the most courageous thing that we can do, and this builds courage, is for us to be able to come back to ourselves, come back down here whenever we get to these places and detach from it. Recognize that we do this in a way that's loving. In other words, we're building friendship with self. Why? Because we can do this in a very nasty way and say, God damn it, what are you doing? There you go again. You were wandering off thinking about that beautiful woman that you saw 3 years ago in the Marrakesh marketplace, or versus when we get good at this, we start to realize, wait a minute, then we need the fierce gentleness. We need to, oh, there I go again. I'm so human, I inevitably follow these stories, on for... And some people are living these stories for 10, 20 years. They just keep following them. They never come back to this sort of this ground of joy. If we can say one thing about this, this is what my teachers would call this ground of joy. This is just, call it the river of joy. Gary Schneider calls it the river of sanity. Whatever you want to call this equanimity, the Buddhists would call it maybe equanimity. We would all find out like this is us grounded, awake, alert, but very relaxed and open, wholehearted living, right? When we're doing this well. That's what we're aiming for. So does this make sense? This is sort of how in our meditation, if we can unhook ourselves from these stories, from these sensations, from these feelings, in our meditation, then we're actually training how to do that during the day. So in the day, when we're taken out by some grumpy thought or some inevitable, challenge that you have, that you've run into at work, or your partner is in a mood, or whatever that is, we can get ourselves detached from that. We can learn about detaching from that. Now, in the beginning, of course, 9 out of 10 times, we're not going to get detached from that. But when we do, we end up not nearly the duration of this, right? You guys have heard me talk about this. The duration and frequency and the intensity of all of this starts to calm down. Frequency. There we go. Those are the 3 variables, right? So the frequency. So we're not wandering off into this old story all the time about our partner or about our boss or or about ourself even. And we're starting to so we don't wander off for so long. All the way, outside, and eventually come back 3 years later because of the story we're telling. So then the frequency of it starts to spread out, and then of course it's not as intense. If this is a plus and minus, this is plus 10, this is minus 10 down here. Can you see that? Yeah. So we're just not nearly going as intensely into the story we're still going there for sure. And the goal of meditation is not to stop thinking. That's like trying to stop the liver functioning, right? That's not the goal of meditating. The goal of meditation is to cultivate this territory in here. It's equanimity. It's not plus or minus 3, maybe, occasionally, we wander off. Okay, fair enough. And the duration, intensity, and the frequency is just, it all starts to go down, right? Okay, so does that make sense? So the whole time, what we're doing is learning to lean in with fierce gentleness, leaning in with FG, fierce gentleness. It's beautiful. And then we can do that with our partners, with our lives, with our friends. So cool, right? Anyway, that's how you might think about looking under the hood of meditation and how it works for everybody. It doesn't matter what kind of meditation you do. I mean, for the most part, there's maybe some that don't quite follow that, but also how it is that it transfers, like how that transfers into everyday life and how it liberates us. And that, my friends, is how meditation frees you, right? So if you want to be free, get a pillow, sit on the floor, get a routine together. Bye for now.